Good physical play here in the early going. We talked about Terry Ruskowski saying, I want to see my guys hit. Well, he's at least getting that here. Now we've got Todd Gillingham and Steve Jaques going at it. Gillingham took exception to Steve Jaques pounding him, and then Jaques comes in after him. Gillingham kind of went after Jaques, and when Jaques said, okay, you want to go, let's go, and Gillingham kind of backed off a little bit.
Gillingham thought it was over when Jaques thought it was just starting, and he caught him with a right and now a left, and Gillingham is pretty soon going to be imploring the linesman to step in and get me out of this mess.
6'2", 202 is Gillingham, but I think Jaques just chopped him down to 2'6".
Yeah, he certainly did.
He took exception to what I thought was a clean hit by Steve Jaques.
Well, and it was an odd little skirmish as Gillingham threw a couple of shots and looked like Jaques was just going to let him go by himself. And then finally, Jaques said, all right, if you want me, you got me. And Gillingham is still trying to get him. Jaques hasn't even dropped the stick or dropped the gloves. Gillingham still wants to go. Finally, he drops it, gets him with a quick right that Gillingham never saw coming. There's another uppercut and an overcut and a side cut. And Terry Ruskowski loves it. Hey, does he love that, huh? He was one of the toughest of the tough when he played here and helped lead the Aeros to the AFCO trophy back in '75. And he was a tough middleweight in the National Hockey League, and he loves to see his little guys play tough.
I'll tell you a funny story about Terry Ruskowski last night. We were playing, of course, in Atlanta, and they've got Gerard Gallant. Well, this is a guy that fought Terry Ruskowski twice. And Terry says to me, he says, Adam, this is a guy that really gave me all I could handle twice, because once I was late in a shift, and the other I already had 2 fights, so I got my third one, I was kicked out, so he really didn't get the best of me, or I didn't give him my best. He said, I see if one of my guys can take care of him last night. Never really happened, but you don't think that they don't forget even after all these years.
Yeah, really.